election season and everybody seems to be talking about money, whether it's rich candidates, poor candidates, candidates whose wealth has tripled or even grown exponentially. And also at the same time, the Prime Minister and his cabinet of ministers, they've released their assets as well. So on agenda, we are asking, what does this all mean for you and me? And of course, does it affect the vote? First of all, we have a special panel over here to talk about it. But first, let's just see how it's grown.
हमने कभी दूसरों की संपत्ति पे देश की संपत्ति को अपना नहीं माना है, वो लोगों का माना है, गरीबों का माना है.
So we are talking about what the assets really mean to all of us as voters. And our first talking about really is it just a routine exercise which people have to do? Or is it something that empowers all of us and really changes the way that democracy is run? Anil Verma, that question is for you.
See, till 1999, nothing of the background data of the candidates was available to the public, in the public domain. It was only after ADR filed a petition and the Supreme Court finally gave a verdict in 2003 that they started filling affidavits, which was made mandatory by law. And then the assets, the criminal background, the education qualifications and all that sort of things started. So, but what I would like to highlight here is that every 5 years when the elections are held,
yes,
there is a 2 to 2.5 times increase in the assets, since we are talking only about assets. 2 to 2.5 times increase in the assets.
In general? In
general.
Okay.
Okay.
Because we are seeing 900%, 300% in many candidates.
Yeah, in a lot of candidates. And like for example now also in the 2014 Lok Sabha elections, 91% of the MPs are crorepatis.
91%?
Yes, 82% ministers in the parliament.
Yes.
I'm talking about the parliament now.
91, that's an astounding figure.
Yes. So, but the point is, people say, what is a crore nowadays? You own a flat in Gurgaon or anywhere, you know, it is more than a crore and things like that. Fine, agreed. But the point is that we should, so what I'm coming to is that transparency is extremely important.
And that's what we are getting.
At least that is being obtained now.
Are we getting real transparency though?
See, I would say that by and large the data which they put out is correct.
Yes.
Because there is a law now that if you give anything wrong in your affidavit which you have filed, or you miss out anything in your affidavit, that is an offense. Punishable.
So I'm going to get the BJP and Congress to react, but before that I just want a quick kind of, how many of you really analyze assets and declarations before you go out to vote? Or you decide your vote?
Yeah, obviously we do, because if a politician is just portraying something that, okay, this is my asset, and then suddenly during the election time his asset is increasing, then I would obviously think that actually
it affects your vote?
Obviously it would affect my vote.
You're shaking your head and saying no, it doesn't.
I do check the statistics just.
You check them, huh?
Yes.
So ADR is one, they're one group which goes through them, does the hard work for us. So when they come out and the newspapers report it, you look and you read them.
Sure.
You do.
Yes.
But it doesn't affect your vote.
It doesn't. No.
Why is that?
It doesn't affect. I look out for the figures just out of curiosity. I'm not interested. See, it's not going to affect whether the politician is rich or poor.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect. It doesn't go by that.
Okay.
So it doesn't affect my vote.
It doesn't. Okay.
No.
But even if he's making lots of money in power,
he can. He has the power. He should be making money.
When you hear someone saying it's okay, it doesn't matter, he has the power, then.
See, unfortunately, that is the problem where the ethics and the morality of the whole thing comes.
Yeah.
If you can jack up a person, a poor government official, for a little bit of bribe or anything.
Yeah.
Why are you being so, I would say, accepting about the politicians?
Okay. So, Ajay Kumar, I want to come to you. You used to be an independent. So as an independent for other candidates as well, how much does it matter?
See,
money matters.
No, money matters in election, and the declaration of assets. Okay, so by and large the assets will be correct because when you're declaring it. So what is actually interesting is what are the undeclared assets. So and it's pretty huge for a lot of people who will show very less income and very less assets and have a lot of backroom deals and family members and everything else. So it's one step in the direction of transparency. And I would say that, you know, from electoral reforms, I mean, as Congress and everybody else, at least the critical part we've been pushing for, and I think all my colleagues will agree, is that electoral reforms is critical to reduce money power. But the money power in election is actually which is subverting the, you know, the electoral process, the actual spending of money. And it's right from, and asset is one debate which we have discussed, but the critical part is for parties with unbridled expenditure, there's no limit on parties to spend on national.
And especially if you go through your parties, and of course Congress is going to bear the brunt of this, because of course Congress is the one which has been in power in Haryana, which is going through polls. So we're seeing all of their candidates. For instance, in Haryana we have Chief Minister's assets being declared over there. It has grown by 900%. We have Kuldeep Bishnoi 363%. We have Vinod Sharma, you know, who used to be in the Congress. His has gone up by 75%. So when you're Chief Minister, 900%. By the way, does anyone have a reaction to that? 900% increase as Chief Minister. Yeah.
Just a question.
Yeah.
I saw the asset, and just correct me, what's the value? Is it 8 crores or something, right? Is it 8 crores, or the Mr. Huda's asset has been declared as somewhere close to 8 or 9 crores?
Yeah, yeah, it is somewhere
so
around
fundamentally, you know, so I'm looking
8
at it.
crores now, 2.7 crores.
So I'm looking at it from an absolute perspective. You see, it's very fancy on TV to say 900% and all, and what do you feel and all. But it's 9 crores, yeah.
Okay.
So 2 flats in Gurgaon, and so I'm just thinking.
The question is, of course, that he gained the assets when he was in office.
No, but what I'm saying is again, so again, the land value. So it's.
Let me interject.
Yes.
There.
But you know, I just want to complete before I say that. So I understand, you know, and it's very easy to sensationalize it.
Okay.
But the fundamental issue is, let's imagine that there are pockets, and so I don't know what are the pockets which appreciated, what is it exactly, because it's not for me to comment without knowing the data.
Okay.
But there's actually been certain, you know, get onto the highway, the land suddenly appreciates, and there's the whole game plan in Haryana, right, in terms of land, the farmers selling it, and, you know, becoming extremely valuable. So I'm just saying, realistically, the Chief Minister of Haryana has got 9 crores. I think that's the number you should quote, instead of saying 900%, which is, you know, which subverts the discussion. Would say
people actually underestimate their assets on
market
paper.
value.
Okay, but
can I, in general, comment
you're
on
actually
this?
backing the Congress on this?
No, I'm not backing anybody on this. I'm making a very independent view.
Yeah.
That I think it's a media sensationalization of this always. The 900% without going into the details of it, without clubbing whether the assets themselves increased in value or whether the asset base increased.
Okay.
Now that's very important distinction. I have seen this many times. You club it at 900%, 300%. This percentage don't speak a lot. You need to go into what is the specific. No, hold on.
No, but they're not getting any contradictions.
No. You have to understand in 5 years' time, certain times, the real estate prices go up, stock markets go up.
It's very interesting to see the Congress and BJP speaking on the same page on this.
No, Sunita, one second.
I think I'm
not.
I would say it's because all politicians.
No, I'm not.
Again, Sunita, just.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Can I comment on that?
Yeah.
It's very important. I think it's a media which is trying to portray this
Okay.
in a wrongful manner. There is transparency required. So I'll comment on it. But first of all, this percentage business without understanding the base data is like giving headlines without understanding what is the context of the whole debate.
Yeah.
And I think media is very good at doing that.
Okay.
So hold on. Let me comment on this. You're not. See, that's the whole point. You're trying to club and make sensation about this. No. This is hold on. Transparency is very important, and transparency is what the voters want today.
Okay.
Now, I mean, despite of what the voters may say, some of the voters are represented here, and we respect that. The important thing is that if the assets have gone up because of in a natural way, everybody would appreciate it. Everybody would want that. There are legitimate businesses people do. It is the problem is if the assets have increased in number of assets without being explained in a appropriate manner, that is where we have to be alarmed about.
That's interesting because.
And the third thing of transparency is not only just the assets, which is what we keep debating, is the work done. I think we have to come out with a performance register for all these candidates, all the ministers, and that is more important to be tracked.
Accepted. Now to just look at someone, someone who is actually contesting, what it means for them. In Mumbai, we have joining us Haryana Narayanan. He's a CPM candidate there, and he also has the distinction. He's been touted as the poorest candidate with assets declared only of 15,000 rupees. So, हाँ, मैं आपसे पूछना चाहती थी, ADR का एक सर्वे है जिसका ये कहना है कि जो अमीर कैंडिडेट्स नहीं हैं उनके जीतने के चांसेस बस 3% है. और जो अमीर हैं उनके 30% से ज्यादा। तो इसके बारे में आप क्या कहेंगे?
हमारा ऐसा लोगों को आज एक इसका त्रुस है जो हमारे को जो चैलेंज करना पड़ता है। 1000 रुपया 800 रुपये दे के लोगों को 500-700 लोगों को लेके जाने का टाइम में जो फैक्ट्री में काम करने वाला जो मजदूर है 25% RTA का शिक्षा का आधार पर जो हमारा साथ में हम लोगों के लिए शिक्षा का प्रावधान दिया, वो कम लोगों को लेके हमको रैली में घूमना पड़ता है। फिर भी हमको एक आत्मविश्वास है कभी ना कभी ये देश में सच्चाई सामने आएगा।
अच्छा, okay. Now I wanted you to talk about that particular survey of 3% chances only for the non-rich candidates of winning. I mean, for someone like him, how difficult is it?
See, it is very difficult. That is what we say. If we are in a democracy, where is the level playing field? Doesn't a common man have the right to also contest elections? I told you 91% and 82% ministers are crorepatis. So what chances does a normal man have to contest
And
elections?
so what, you did this survey which says that they are disadvantaged. What kind of disadvantage is with it?
This is an analysis which we have done over the various results of
That's right.
assemblies and Lok Sabhas and all.
Yeah.
And it is very evident that this is what the trend is.
No, but
That you're likely to win if you're rich.
But Sunitra, I think the ADR will do a great service to the country. If they look at people who are, candidates or, who have made dishonest means of doing it, and whatever be the coordination method, because otherwise, like what the discussion will go on a tangent. The first most important part, like correctly said, large parties, whether it's Congress or BJP, who fight in the elections, obviously the candidates who are coming in, the requirement of politics is people with reasonable amount of time to devote it, because at the end of the day, you will not be able to be in politics if you're not having some amount of reasonable source of income to do politics here. No, this is a reality of life. Now, you're expecting...
So, are you saying
no,
that...
it's tough. No, the fact of life is that, look, let's imagine...
So he's being impractical?
No, he's not being impractical, but the fact is, like in the Communist Party system, they have their stipends and they have everything, and they used to do that. Yeah. So it's fine, and I agree with that. But the fact is that you want to have an honest politician with no... So you're not a member of parliament, you're not a member of the legislative assembly, you're a guy who wants to be a candidate, right? So you fight for the next 5 years preparing your constituency.
Okay.
What do? If you don't have your source of income, then you're going to get the... Actually, not having a source of income is also... So what I'm saying is you need to have an honest source of income. Okay. But what the ADR study says is 3%. And my only question is sensationalization. Find the data. No, find the data.
You're finding all of the data.
No, I'm telling you what I find sensational is... If the source of income is wrong, there is income tax returns. Find 20-30 candidates you want to go after. Expose them. That would do a greater service. Otherwise, it is very easy to generalize.
Okay.
And the most important part, I think the greatest danger to politics is, I'll finish off with this, is money power, which is not the candidate individual asset.
Yeah.
It's the party spending on the elections, That is where the subversion of democracy and the danger to the country.
Okay, we have to take a break. When we come back, we'll hear what the BJP has to say. Is it really, some people say that only the rich ones and the richer ones, because they can afford to run for elections, they are getting tickets. We'll ask what the BJP thinks about that in just a bit. Stay with us.